Hello everyone. Today we are going to see world's largest biometric identification system, AADHAR. In this presentation, we are going to cover the points such as context of innovation, innovation concept, business and social value of the innovation concept, technology set used in the innovation, innovation development, innovation result, planned incremental improvements, and conclusion. First, we will discuss why India needs a common national identity platform such as UIDAI. India is a country of 1.2 billion population. Out of this population, 60% of population live under $2 a day according to the World Bank. Despite showing a robust GDP of nearly 7% per annum for last few decades, India is India is not able to uh, achieve the dream of inclusive growth. India is an interesting mix of demographic population and it is having nearly 60,000 villages, indicating that majority of the population is still living in rural areas, which are untouched by the economic growth. Due to this, most of the population, basically rural population, keeps on migrating in search of employment. As the Indian government wasn't able to disperse the fruits of economic development equally among its population, the economic growth is mostly centered in the urban areas, leaving the vast majority of population of 80% devoid of government services such as banking, etc. In the same society, just 3% of its population is paying its due income taxes, as the public sector services are grappled with corruption. The dream of democracy of inclusive growth cannot be realized unless the perks of the developments are shared equally with every section of society. To realize this dream, there are various well-intended government subsidy schemes. The government of India spends annually nearly 25 to 40 billion dollars on direct subsidy schemes such as public distribution scheme for food, national rural employment guarantee scheme, pension scheme, scholarship scheme, and so on. But most of these programs are plagued by the ghost identities, multiple identities, leading to massive leakages of 30 to 45% of government resources. One of the major reasons for this is the public service sector is corrupted, and whenever the intended beneficiary, poor, mostly poor in this case, tries to avail the benefits of these schemes, they are asked to provide the formal identity proofs, which they lack. There are several identity programs available, but the acceptability of them is limited, such as driver licenses and electoral cards. As the poor cannot identify them formally to the system, they are denied the access to the services, leaving with the choice of bribing the corrupt officials to get their legitimate shares. The vision with which India launched its Aadhaar project was it wanted to create a common national identity to curb the corruption and make some systemic reforms so that the benefits of India was trying to implement a national identity program where it was for a long time. The aim
especially the
was
poor
to
section of
equip the
society.
common
This is
man
the class
of
of
the
the
country with
society
the
which
power of
most of the
unique
time does
identity with
not have
which
essential
they can access
documents
the
to
services
prove
in
their
their
identity.
identity without any
And
hassle.
as they
So,
cannot
Government
avail
of
the
India formally
benefits
announced
of
the
government
UIDI
programs,
Core
it is
Committee
not
in
possible for the
2009,
government
and
of
Mr.
India
Nandan
to
Nilekani
have an
was
inclusive
announced
growth
as the
in
chairman
all
of the
sections of society.
UIDI.
So,
This was the
government of India
critical
wanted to
decision,
empower
as it was Mr.
each
Nandan
and every
Nilekani
citizen
and
of
his
the society
technocratic
with a
vision,
unique
which made possible to
identification
deliver
key,
such a mammoth
which will be
project
easily
successfully
available to
and
them,
well ahead of
and
time.
along with
This was
that,
the
it
period
will
when the
empower them
biometric
with their
was
unique
on the slope of
identity.
enlightenment
Thus,
on the
the
Gardner
idea
Hype
of
Cycle
multimodal
2010.
biometric unit identification system came into existence. The Aadhaar project was formally launched in 2011 under the chairmanship of Mr. Nandan Nilekani, the former CEO of Infosys Technologies. This was the man who was the driving force behind the biometric-based unique identification system of India. This was the exact time when biometric authentication system was on the slope of enlightenment on 2010 Gartner Hype Cycle.
UID's
So
core
what is
committee
Aadhaar?
selected
Aadhaar is a
multimodal
unique 12-digit
biometric along
number
with the minimal
issued by
demographic
UIDAI
data
to a
as a way
resident of
to
India.
assign the unique
This number
identity to
is
the
randomly
resident after
generated
studying
and does
several
not have any
existing
intelligence to it.
biometric national
Aadhaar
identity
uses
programs such as
multimodal
US Visit
biometric system
program.
as it has
Biometric
better
refers to
data
the
to produce a
establishing
successful
identity-based
deduplication
physical and
against the
behavioral
huge
characteristics
amount
of
of
an
data.
individual such as face,
Aadhaar enrollment
fingerprints,
is
iris,
done
voice,
once
gait,
in a
and
lifetime of a
keystroke,
processor.
etc.
Either
Biometric
two different persons
identification is
can
done
have
in two
similar
modes,
Aadhaar
enrollment and
numbers, or
authentication. In
one person
biometric
cannot have
enrollment,
two Aadhaar numbers. Aadhaar enrollment
UIDIA
procedure needs only
decided to
minimal data
capture the
set
three
which can be
biometric
categorized
modalities such
as
as face,
demographic.
fingerprints,
Under
and two
this
irises.
comes name,
Biometric scanners
address,
equipped with
date of birth,
specialized
and gender
scanning
of the person.
devices
The next category
captures
is
the biometric
biometric, which is the
characteristics of an
foundation of
individual,
Aadhaar.
and
It
a quality
requires
check
two
is done
iris
in order to
images,
ensure
10
that the capture
fingerprint
sample is
images, and
noise-free.
third
In
one is
order to
facial recognition
facilitate
pattern.
matching, the input digital
Aadhaar
sample
system
is
can be
further
broadly
processed
categorized into two main
by feature
systems:
extractor to
the
generate a
enrollment system
compact
and
but
the authentication system.
expressive
In
representation
enrollment
called a
system,
feature
the
set,
person
which is
who
then
wants the
stored
Aadhaar
as a
number
template
goes
for
to
the
the
further
enrollment
comparison.
station.
This
Here, the
process is
person's
the
fingerprints, iris
same for
images,
all the
and facial
biometric
images are
modalities.
captured by three
Further,
respective
for
biometric sensing
multimodal
systems.
biometrics, the
These
extracted
images
feature
are
sets
then
are
run
fused
against
together
the
to get
three
a combined vector
respective
of the
algorithms
modalities
in order to
and then
find out the
stored as a template
extraction,
for the future
and thus then
comparison.
they are fused
This
together
template is set
and data packets are
to the
encrypted
National
afterwards.
Repository,
All of this
repository
is
for
done at
biometrics,
the
and
front
here
end of
it
the
is
system only,
compared or
as this has
deduplicated
proven
against
to
all
yield
the available
better results.
templates in the system.
These
If the
encrypted
match is
data
found,
packets are
then
sent
that
over the
means
network
the
to
person is
EIDR.
already having a
The enrollment
UIDAI
backend
number
operation
and
is
it will be
carried out
denied
at
a
this
new number.
EIDR,
If the
where the
match is not
packet is
found, a
checked
unique
and
randomly
validated
generated
for
12-digit number
correctness
is assigned
and
to the
then
person.
deduplicated
This
against the
enrollment
existing
process is
enrollment
done
database.
once in a lifetime.
Only when the new
Now
enrollment record
authentication.
is
During
found,
authentication,
unique Aadhaar number
the
granted to
person
that
goes to the
particular
UIDI
resident.
center and gives
Aadhaar
his biometrics
authentication
in order
is
to
a
prove
process to
who he
check
claims
the
to be.
claim who
While
you are who you
authentication,
claim to be.
residents needs
In
to
this
provide
process,
only
Aadhaar
fingerprints
number
and two
along with
irises. Once the samples are captured, they are processed for the feature extraction and noise reduction, and the combined feature vector is constructed. It is then sent to the UIDI authentication server for the verification. Here the template is again matched against all the available database templates, and once the match is found, only yes is sent back in order to convey the claim to be valid. No personal information such as name is revealed during the authentication process, keeping the privacy of the resident intact. Now let's see how this process of authentication can help a poor farmer who is living in a remote area where there is no proper infrastructure development. If he wants to withdraw some money or save some money, usually he has to travel nearly 10 to 12 kilometers to reach the bank, which can take him a whole day owing to the fact that the public transportation facility is not that good in remote places. This in turn means that a day's wage loss for a poor person like Ram. So if the UIDI enabled micropayments are made available to these people, it can help them tremendously. So Ram goes for local business correspondents in his village who can be any person authorized to be a business correspondent. Let's say here it is a grocery shop owner. Ram wants to withdraw some money. He gives his biometrics along with UIDI number to the BC who is having a handheld biometric sensing device. BC sends this information along with biometric information to BC's bank account. Bank making use of UIDI biometric identification platform can check the identity of Ram. Once the identity is authenticated through a UIDAI, a request is sent to Ram's bank. Upon the legitimate request of Ram's withdrawal, Ram's bank credits BC's bank account with the required transaction amount. At the same time, the Ram's bank sends a message for the same to Ram. BC then hands over the requested amount of money to Ram. Thus, Ram can now withdraw money whenever he wants without having to travel long distances and without losing day's wage. Aadhaar UIDR is a clear case of open source innovation as the knowledge required to build the platform was available openly. And it is a case of social innovation keeping in mind the social value it has created. UIDR team is trying to build a cashless, paperless digital infrastructure on the top of Aadhaar platform. It's planning to build open APIs so that any private public sector service providers can build an app around it and leverage its benefits. The UIDI enabled bridge called as ABP is one such app which can be directly linked to residents' bank account to deposit the benefits or any other service benefits. eKYC platform is built in keeping in mind know your customer legal bindings on service provider sector. This app makes authenticating the customer an easy process leading to time and cost savings. eSign offers platform to citizens for instant signing of their documents securely in a legal acceptable way. Unified payment interface facilitates the next generation online immediate payments, leveraging trends such as increasing smartphone adoption and application downloads. Any private or public sector firms can make use of the open API platforms to provide their services to people. Currently, Aadhaar is being implemented in various government sectors such as LPG schemes, PDS schemes, and which has generated a lot of social and financial values.